Today we are learning about equivalent expressions. The goal of today's lesson is that you will be able to use the distributive property to create equivalent expressions. These are the properties of operations, and these are in your book. This very picture is in your book, and it might be helpful to you. Today we're going to talk about the distributive property. So in order to think about the distributive property, let's think about a recipe. My Grandma Randall makes this amazing fudge frosting, and what's in it, I memorized it because I make it all the time too. Whenever I make brownies, I put this frosting on top. There's 6 tablespoons of butter. There's 6 tablespoons of milk, and there's 1 1/3 cups of sugar. So if I want to make one batch of this frosting, I would need 6 tablespoons of butter, 6 tablespoons of sugar, and 1 1/3 cup of sugar. Wait, did I say sugar? Butter, milk, sugar, sorry. Okay, if I wanted to make one batch, it might look like this. 1 times 6, 1 times 6, and then 1 times 1/3. I would need 6 tablespoons of butter, 6 tablespoons of milk, 1 1/3 cup of sugar. However, if I wanted to make 2 batches of this delicious frosting, that would look a little bit different. I would need to multiply every single ingredient by 2. So 2 times 6, I would need 2 times 6, I would need 12 tablespoons of butter. I would also have to double the milk. I would need 12 tablespoons of milk, and I would also have to double the sugar. So 2 times 2 is 2, 2 times 1/3 is 2/3. Okay, these two things are equivalent expressions. 2 times the quantity 6 plus 6 plus 1/3 is the same as 12 plus 12 plus 2/3. When we think about the distributive property, it's important to remember that whatever is outside of the parentheses, we're multiplying. And we can't just multiply it by the first thing in the parentheses. We have to multiply it by everything in the parentheses. So A times B becomes AB, and A times C becomes AC. These two expressions are equivalent. Let's look at an algebraic expression with numbers. So this one says 3 times the quantity 4 plus z. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 4. Again, I'm creating an equivalent expression. 3 times 4 is 12. And I also have to multiply 3 times z. Now, if I have 1z and suddenly I multiply it by 3, now I have 3 z's. Okay, so these two expressions, 12 plus 3z, is the same as 3 times the quantity 4 plus z. Let's look at a couple more examples. So this one says 2 times the quantity r plus 3. I'm going to take these out because that's a little backwards to me, but 2 times r gives me 2r, and 2 times 3 gives me 6. These two expressions are equivalent. 6 times the quantity 4s minus 1. 6 times 4s. If I have 4 s's and I need to multiply that by 6, then suddenly I no longer have 4 s's, I have 24 s's. So we multiply the numbers, but the variable remains the same. So 24s, and then I'm going to multiply what's inside the parentheses, all of it. 6 times 1 is 6. Notice that subtraction sign stays the same. This expression is equivalent or the same as this expression. Let's do a couple more examples. This one says 3 times the quantity x minus 6. We're going to multiply what is inside the parentheses. So 3 times x and 3 times 6. This is the same as 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 6 is 18. Notice I just kept that subtraction sign the same. These are equivalent expressions. This one says, Chris says that the expression 4n minus 2 can be written as 2 times the quantity 2n minus 1. What do you think? Just looking at these for a moment, do you think that's true or do you think that's false? So I guess I would recommend trying to use the distributive property on this one. And let's multiply. What is 2 times 2n? 2 times 2 is 4, n remains the same. That subtraction sign stays. And 2 times 1 is 2. So it turns out that yes, these two things are equivalent. We do agree that it can be written differently because they are equivalent expressions. One more example for you before you go off and try this on your own. Select each expression that is equivalent to 5 times the quantity n plus 4. When I look at 5 times the quantity n plus 4, I want to think to myself, what is the same as that? 5 times n is 5n, and 5 times 4 is 20. So do I see that in here? Yes. This one is the same. Okay, now let's look at this one, 5n plus 4. Do you think 5n plus 4 is the same as 5n plus 20? No, I can see the mistake that they made in that, and that is a mistake lots of kids make. They multiply the first one and then they forget to do the second one. They just left it as a 4. So no, not that one. 15 plus 5n plus 5. Now if you think about it, what is 15 plus 5? Yeah, that's 20. And 20 plus 5n is the same as 5n plus 20. That's the commutative property. When we add or multiply, order does not matter. So yes, we can choose this one. And then finally, the last one says 5 times the quantity n plus 3 plus 5. We can multiply 5n plus 15 plus 5. And this looks an awful lot like the one that we just talked about. We can combine these. 15 plus 5 is 20, and we still have 5n. So this one is also the same. All right, equivalent expressions are expressions that have the same value. The distributive property means multiplying everything that's inside the parentheses. Please check Schoology for your assignment. Everything that you have is exactly what you need. So if you have 3 assignments in there, then those are the 3 assignments that you do. I tried to make everybody's a little bit more personalized, so you just have what you need. Let me know if you have questions.